resume our meeting with, for 2023-24 budget workshop. Can we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ms. Jane, would you start us?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse me.
Good morning. I'd like to thank everybody for being here again. I think yesterday was very productive. That we had a lot of open communication, and hopefully we have that again today. There were some valid points that were brought up, and those valid points were well taken. And that's good to hear that we have open communication back and forth, pros and cons. There is a budget that I need to present to you, and all those comments were well appreciated. With that said, we're going to continue today's budget, and we're going to go with Juan Guerra. He's going to go with Nogales Rides, Engineering, and then we'll get into the enterprise funds. No further say. Juan, you're on.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Mayor and Council. For the Nogales Rides, I'm requesting a new shuttle with a wheelchair. We have currently one in operation, and the other one is not working, and it's supposed cannot be repaired. So we want to have at least two to alternate the vans and provide a better level, a better service to the community. According to our fleet department, the cost of a vehicle like that is $110,000. The rest of the balance, the budget is the same than last year.
Juan, and I brought it up, I think in one of our council meetings. I think it's great that we're looking into getting a new vehicle for that department, because besides that, I think our old one needs a very good paint job. You know, we need to put our city logos right and look at least a lot better presented on these buses. You know, because I've gone through other cities and all that, and they really pride on putting their name on these buses, and especially since they're going out throughout the city and everything, you know, represent the city. And I think we do need to look into, you know, refurbishing our old truck, or at least with a very good paint job, and this new vehicle. I'm all for it. That's my comment. Anybody else have a comment?
What's the turnaround time to get this new van?
I really don't know, because as you know, the market is not, we cannot have a certain date for secure. We have been waiting for our first vehicle for over 2 years now. I really don't know if we request a new vehicle, when we will have it. It's difficult to say.
Ms. Menendez?
I have a question. You're requiring another vehicle, but do you have another employee that is going to take care of it?
only
With the same one?
Only one driver. What happens is that when the car is not working, we have to
Stop service.
stop the service. Yeah.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor, go ahead.
Do you charge some kind of fee for the transportation?
There is a $1 voluntary fee. Whoever wants to give it, it's okay. If they don't have to do it, it's a voluntary fee.
What's the average use of the van daily?
Daily, we have in average 15 rides.
15 lights?
15 rides, and but we have a list of qualified customers of over 300.
Okay. So they have to call in and make an appointment for a pickup and,
That is correct. And most of the 15 users are the same users, basically. They used to call in first and then set an appointment. Most of them are doctor's appointments, and others are going shopping, to the gym, or different activities. But the 15 users are, if we see the calendar, are repetitive customers.
and what are the requirements? Do you have to be a senior citizen or disabled?
A senior citizen with disabilities as well. But we have been lately rejecting people with sicknesses like that requires attention of somebody else, because we have had situations where our drivers are not trained to take care of a citizen with health issues. So people with cancer or with medical transports. There are other I think there are other type of services that can be provided to those people instead of us taking care of that.
And all the services are within the city limits, right?
Within the city limits, yes.
All right. Thank you.
Anybody else? One, just another comment. You said be the same driver and all that, and I commend you on giving the driver a raise. I think I know him personally, and he's a very great for that. He fits that job, and I'm very glad that he will be you're putting him up for getting a raise on that. But on what you said on the other types, services and stuff like that, if you have issues like that, we work very close to let's say Santa Cruz training and stuff like that. Would that be a service that we could get support from them?
We have had support from the Santa Cruz training program before, but my understanding is that they are extremely busy as well. They don't have more capacity. Same thing with us. We don't have, sometimes when they call us to get assistance, our schedule is full. So,
Okay.
so I don't think it's a way to.
Now, on the vehicle being that we're using for seniors and needed patients or constituents, is there grants for this, types of funding that we could go out, state or federal, that we could try to get support for the 110,000?
It might be, but as you know, also that grants takes a long time to lend it. By the way, the vehicles that we currently have were obtained with grants many years ago, when the program started in 2007 or before. So yeah, there is a way to maybe look for grants, but our grants are very, very competitive and not easy to get, I think.
Well, don't hurt to try.
Yeah, we can try.
I think we could try both avenues, and even if we have to purchase it prior to the grant, maybe we could return the money back to general fund after we get a grant, or even try to get a second vehicle. Okay, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
One, do we require a special insurance policy since we're transporting public residents?
I don't think so. I guess the maximum in order to have another type of insurance will be a bigger vehicle, but the size of this vehicle doesn't require any more.
Okay, thank you.
That's covered by our general policy with the pool.
General policy?
Yeah, our liability policy. That's an included activity.
Ms. Montiel.
Juan, as a director, how did you determine, I'm actually elated that this employee is going to get a $3,000 raise, but tell me, how did you calculate that? How did you determine as a director that he will get a $3,000 raise?
Councilwoman Montiel, I think this is part of the formula that we have been handling with human resources about the longevity of the employee and also to the midterm of the salary.
Okay, I wanted to hear it from you. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councilman Doyle.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I think one of the things that I was tossing around in my head, that we get these comparable studies from the surrounding communities, and yet we're not quite aware of all the factors entailed in those comparable studies, because you just can't compare apples and bananas. This is a unique community. Even from other border towns, we're not the same. And our funding is limited compared to a lot of other communities. I mean, the chain stores are in the surrounding communities by the numbers. We don't have a property tax here at the city. So our funding is limited. And then when you start getting competitive with grants and all, well, that really puts pressure on this governing body and the whole city. So I think we have to be extra frugal as far as how we approach every situation. But I'm granting the budget on this year for the needs that are being placed and that need to be, I guess, covered for the best interests of the community, as long as the residents are going to benefit from it, the whole community. And I think we have to kind of pick and choose on some of them. But what I'm getting to is that we're doing the budget this year, but come next year, I think we should really be on the ball. We should really start looking every month ahead on seeing and keeping a report on how the city's being run. I think we should expect more from our department heads. And again, it'll be through our city manager. But at the end of it, we're the ones that the public looks at, and we really should keep those interests at heart. And I just wanted to bring that out, so as we continue with this budget meetings, that we take that in consideration and realize that we are kind of that medium that have to provide not only for our citizens, but also make sure city government runs smoothly through our staff, city manager being in charge. So I just wanted to bring that so that as we go ahead, let's keep that in mind, and hopefully we'll have a successful budget analysis this year.
Okay, Mr. Doyle. And you weren't here yesterday at the beginning of the meeting. We're hearing out every director, we're hearing out every proposal and all that towards the end of the meeting. And I've got my notes. Hopefully you got yours. We're all going to come back and look at it, every department. And you know, if we have comments on turning or and moving things around, we will do that towards the end of the meeting.
Good. Thank you.
But I appreciate your comment. You know, right now, you know, on rides, I think, you know, they're asking for a new vehicle. They're asking, you know, I suggest that we paint our old vehicle, and those just notes that we're each doing on each department. But thank you for your comment. And anything else, Mr. Guerra?
Mr. Mayor, I want to add something in regards to your comment that I'm currently working as we speak with the fleet department to go and getting quotes for painting the existing van with the current budget. We have some funding remaining in the repairs of vehicles, so we can cover that within this year budget.
Yeah, take, you have it left over, take it and use it. Thank you. Any other comments? Thank you. Next item? Or
Next to be engineering.
which one?
Okay.
Go ahead.
And in engineering is, I'm asking, a little bit more than last year, but it's for, compensation of overtime. And then also, I think the, insurance and other things has been a little bit higher than last year. Let's see, 3,000 for, training, and, I'm also requesting, computer software for, drafting. So that's the only difference, about 4,000 in the whole budget.
67. Any comments on engineering, anybody? As everybody knows, I think basically we do in-house engineering, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Guerra,
Yes, sir.
on the engineering, are you, how are you with the, all your machinery, and you not asking any for this year, or,
For engineering?
yeah, or it's not, doesn't fall under streets, or,
Yeah, it's a different.
okay. All right.
Any questions on engineering? Mr. Guerra, just a comment. Basically, thank you for the hard work you do right there. And I know you'll be busy talking with Mr. Tapia on projects and see what's new to come up for our city. One thing that I'm going to ask the city manager, because I've basically heard it, and it's not the first time that I hear it. We do have the hydrant issues. We have the water lines issues. We gotta be more proactive and identify all those areas so we address them. We can't wait till we have an incident to say we should have. That's I know it's millions of dollars that we would need to spend on those, but let's start looking at those and put them in priorities. I've heard lines around the hospital that it's one size here and one size over there, and in between it's another size that just limits us to pressures and stuff like that. But all those little details, hopefully you guys group up and work together and try to eliminate any of those issues in the future. Yes, ma'am?
How are the sidewalks going along around the high school? Had parents ask me about that.
You mean the recently constructed
Yeah.
sidewalks? I have received very good comments from the community. I'm impressed that at the beginning we had a lot of obviously bad comments for the disruption of the road and the activities there. But I have been receiving very good comments from people. I have seen people using it, and I enjoy when I see the kids from the high school using the sidewalks that were not there before. Luckily, this year we'll complement on this side of, on the south side of the road with the pedestrian pathway that
Yeah.
needs to be done this year.
And where are we, how are we paying that?
We are currently in the process of the ADA is advertising that project. So we'll have the proposal very soon, and we'll have the activities, the construction in more or less, I'm guessing by June, July.
Is ADOT funding that?
ADA funding that.
All of it, completely?
Unfortunately, due to the cost of construction, we have been shrinking the project limits.
Yeah.
But we are still thinking that we will be able to do the crossing under the I-19 bridge up to Mariposa Hills, that corridor. At the beginning, when we started with this project, we were thinking to have the pedestrian pathway along Grand Avenue, but Union Pacific didn't want to be close to them. And then later we reduced the project limits from Grand Avenue up to the high school, but also again, the cost of construction has been raising and raising, so we need to reduce the project limits. The good thing is that we have a deadline to use the funds or lose it, but we had to decide to just shrink the project, not let it go.
Oh, okay.
Ada. Ada. We were responsible for providing the matching funds only, and that's it.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
it's kind of an important note for council to know on this particular project that Juan's talking about. This is an ADOT project. We participate with them in helping them get right-of-way acquisitions, and we help with the engineering on it, giving them suggestions, but they bid it and they pay the contractor. So when Juan talks a lot about it means, it means ADOT working with Juan to get this project done. You're not going to see this project except for the matching in your budget.
One question on the same sidewalks that were just recently constructed. I received some comments or concerns, actually. That little area behind the stadium, I don't know if it's a school issue or us, but there may be a need for railings because apparently somebody already fell down there. And since it's being used a lot more, we need to look at that.
We'll take, I remember that one of the citizens made this comment before, and because we were expecting ADOT coming the next this year with the project, we didn't want to spend 30,000 in that fencing, knowing that ADOT had part of the design included there. It seems like now the new project limits will not reach up to that area, so we'll take care of that with a fencing or something.
I have one.
Go ahead,
I
Ms.
mentioned,
Montiel.
when Mr. Tapia mentioned the general plan,
Your mic, please.
that's your job to turn it. So the general plan is really important, as you well know, and Mr. Tapia talked a little bit about it, which is great because the voters acted on that and voted on it. Is this like correlated with the general plan, or is it two different like islands there?
It is in some part. For example, the pedestrian pathways and creating bicycle routes and things like that are part of the general plan.
Yeah.
And creating this type of facilities is in trying to help. By the way, one of the previous studies funded by ADA for the multi-use pathways bicycle and pedestrian master plan requires bike lanes on Front Reed, and as well on Grand Avenue, something for pedestrians. And next week, I have the contractor ready to start the sidewalks construction on Grand Avenue, as from Country Club up to Old Tucson Road. And then part of the requested budget for the coming year is continue with the construction of sidewalks every year, little by little.
Okay.
Again, providing something for pedestrians that talks about general plan. So yes, it's in part of what we are doing is part of the general plan.
Okay. It would be nice in the future to present like a study session on how you guys are implementing the general plan that the voters agreed to implement. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, Mayor. Go ahead, Mr. Dahl.
I guess going back to the previous question, which leaves a little concern that Councilman Gradius brought up with that, I guess, opening or danger zone behind the bleachers there at the high school. My question is for legal. Mr. Machado, how much liability does the city take in case somebody slipped and fell towards the background of that opening, towards the bleachers from the street? Would the city be the one that would be responsible for that?
It's a real open-ended question, and I hate to sound like an attorney, but it depends. It depends on what the design was, who was responsible for the design, and what other plans we have in order to correct some obvious defect. So right now, I would say it's an ADOT project. They are primarily responsible for the design and the construction of what they did. But once it's done, as the director has indicated, then I think it's our obligation to make sure that we don't have to, that it's not our duty to do something else to that project to avoid any injury.
Could something be done temporary right now, considering that this week is going to be kind of hectic over there? There's going to be a lot of traffic. I think people going to the stadium. And is there anything that we can do in conjunction with ADOT that would put like a safety barrier at least, so people are aware that be careful as you walk by there that they don't slip up and fall?
Sure, that's a possibility that I'm sure they'll look into that.
Okay, that'd be, I think at least that way we're taking
Proactively.
well, for the safety of our residents. And
Sure, absolutely.
okay, thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Isn't that beyond the sidewalk? That property belongs to the school district, right?
No, I think we own the right of way up to the fence.
Up to the fence?
So we have 100 feet of right of way in that area. So the slope behind the sidewalks is part of the city's right of way.
Okay.
But that has been there for maybe 30 years. We have no history of any accident. We have no, thank God, so far. And then there is a shoulder about 2-3 feet behind the existing sidewall. So
I know we talked about it in the past. You just fixed part of the we had a little spot where we had a break on the sidewalk. You fixed that. You had a little temporary. I think we should at least, because what Mr. Doe is talking, we got transitions and graduations coming up next week. I don't know if we just put anything as being a precaution, for this coming week.
yeah, I will coordinate with the street department to install something temporary, like maybe concrete post with chains or something, just temporarily.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make sure that's done and take a look at. I think right now with the new construction and the new street and sidewalks, I think that problem is more pronounced. It's been there forever, but it's more pronounced. But yeah, I agree, it has to be taken care of. So we'll take the measures necessary to make sure that it's a safe transition and graduation for the high school. And then after that, we'll go back to the drawing board and see how we can put a permanent fix to that.
Thank you, sir. Anything else for engineering? Thank you, Mr. Juan. Next, what's going to be next?
So we'll move on to HERF, the streets, which is page 89. So Juan, would you like to
Sure, please.
presentation?
Yes.
You just let him know when you want to.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it was trinket, the original, the cover sheet, maybe the size of the screen or something. But you have a better presentation in front of you. Next, please. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is the department that I'm in charge of, the engineering department with two. I have an assistant, an engineering tech, and then the street department has 17 employees, including the street superintendent and the street supervisor. And then we have few vacancies. Unfortunately, this year we had a lot of employees resignations, very good skilled workers, concrete workers, and that have found a better opportunity somewhere else. But we are in the process of hiding and filling those vacancies. In the Nogales Rights, we have only one driver, one employee. Next, please. So I like this picture because I wanted to let you know that I love what I do in engineering, because engineering is everywhere. Whatever you see on top and underground has to do with engineering, utilities, any kind of utilities on the ground, and then also the on top, which includes sidewalls, pedestrian pathways, and landscape, striping, lighting, everywhere. So I'm very proud of what I do, and it's just a picture of whatever you see outside has to do with engineering. Next, please. So these are the most relevant job duties that engineering department does, which is grant writing and management, and budget administration as well, construction inspections, capital improvement plans, preparation of technical reports, supervision of other departments, and construction documents. We are currently bidding the industrial park phase 1. We prepare the plans and the bid documents in-house. And then we also, obviously, part of the bidding process, we request proposals from contractors and check that all the quantities and numbers are okay. Coordination of public meetings to inform the residents of new projects like the CDBG funding available, and ideas of how to use the projects, the money. And obviously plan reviews. That is one of our main role in public works. Next, please. In plan reviews, these are the things that we check on every single project. Right away, traffic impact reports for new projects, grading and drainage, traffic signs, striping, soils reports. We review site plans, tentative plats, and final plats. We also check water and sewer projects. As Mr. Mayor was mentioning about the lack of improvements in the drainage and the water and sewer department, we assist the public works director in checking those type of facilities. We also review water and sewer plants. But not only that, but we also work with the public works director in using the CDBG funds in water and sewer projects. And we use HER funds for matching the paving. But in the last few years, I guess more than 10 years, we have been using the CDBG funding for water and sewer projects. We potentially can use those fundings for something else, but we have been focusing in addressing the water and sewer projects. We also check the parking and loading and unloading zones, access, driveways, and outdoor lighting. So next, please. In the street department does paving replacement. I'm very proud of our team because they do a very good quality work in regards to the paving. That we compared the quality of the pavings with other contractors, and by we have a much better quality than others. In road maintenance, they do also with abatement and sidewalk repairs. Assist other departments for special events and other things. Maintenance of a storm sewer system. Before the rainy season, we used to go and clean the existing basins and drainage facilities. We also replace the concrete for water meters and sewer manholes. We do also emergency repairs. Like in the Nogales Wash, we did some repairs a few months ago. By the way, we need to continue working on the wash. I will talk a little bit more later. and also a street signs replacement. Next, please. This is for the Nogales rights that we already went over the budget, but this is provide transportation service to the community, and also we assist with special events like the next coming Saturday. I think we'll be using the Nogales rights for transporting people for assisting Rene Travers. Next, please. This is a summary of the projects that we are currently managing this year. All of the projects that you see are in progress. We'll be improving the Terrace Avenue in mid of June. Contractor was not available up to that time, only in mid-June. We also will be paving Front Reed Road from the Nogales High School up to Shell Road in June. We are currently replacing the paving on Santana. And we also finalized the budget with Charles Street. But Industrial Park Drive Phase 1 is currently in the newspaper, and tomorrow I have the pre-bid meeting to show the projects to the potential bidders. What else? Some of these projects will not make it in this budget, like the Valle Verde paving and some of the roads in Meadow Hills. We replaced the paving in some of the roads, but we didn't do the chip sealing that we had planned. And then Old Tucson Road, we were able to replace the worst section of the road, but we have plans to continue replacing segments of Old Tucson Road in the next coming year. Any question on this slide?
I have a question.
Sure.
When you said the North Valle Verde Drive was not going to be included in this because that street is it's bad.
It is. We'll not make it in this before June, but
Okay.
I put it in the next.
In the next budget?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The slide that you are seeing is that for next. It says there carry forward. Next slide, please. Just to give you a little bit of background, this is only up to 2017, but before of that, we have been always very active and aggressive getting grants for the city. But starting in 2017, we had the McNabb and water paving and project, and same thing in the following year, 2018, we had the McNabb Phase 2. The following year, we had the Perkins Avenue, and then in 2020, Noon, and then the 21 and 22 basically were the multi-use pathway on Patagonia Highway, and the Front Reed will be done this year. And then we also obtained the grant for Industrial Park Phase 1. But prior years, we had Crawford, we had sewer rehabilitation project, we have many other grants, but every year we have been very active or lucky to have something. We hope to continue applying for grants and being lucky to get them. Next, please. Just to give you an idea of the money that we are talking about in terms of grants, I put this slide to show you that we just received a letter from Senator Mark Kelly's office saying that from hundreds of projects, Industrial Park Phase 2 was selected, but they put a warning saying that they have not secured the funding yet, but at least it's in the list of projects that will be presented to the Congress. And we hope that we'll get that funding. So I put it there just in case we get it. We'll need to have funding, matching funds in the amount of $195,000, which is 5.7%. So the federal government will put the rest for Phase 2 of Industrial Park. Camino del Sol is the next one coming from CDBG. The public hearing will be in June 7th. second public hearing, which is just the presentation of the proposed projects, which it will be, staff will be recommending Camino del Sol sewer, water, and paving, because we just completed the segment, one section last year. So we would like to continue with that project up to Grand Avenue. And then the Nogalitos is a NatBank grant that we were told by the people from NatBank that it is very, very possible that we'll get that grant. This is only for design. It's design of the whole Nogalitos is a big area that includes the Edwards and the previous roads that were paved like maybe 5 years ago. But at that time, those roads were paved by the county. At that time, the city didn't have the money to replace water and sewer. So if this grant, if we get the grant from NatBank, we'll be able to have the design done. And then according to NatBank, there are other possibilities to get funding for construction that will include water, sewer, and paving. Industrial Park Phase 1 is the one that we are currently bidding. And then the multi-use pathway on Front Reed and Paragonia Highway. All those grants are about over $7 million. And then the matching portion is what you see in the right. Part of the grant, the money that we have allocated for Industrial Park Phase 1 is $972,000 from HERF, but as soon as we are done with the project, the Arizona Commerce Authority will reimburse $500,000. Next, please. And unless you have any question here. Sure.
Going back to the Nogalitos.
Turn on your mic, Mr. Doe, please.
Going back to the Nogalitos project, you mentioned the county had paid for the paving of the roads back there. Which were the roads or streets that the city paid for?
The city